G'day, folks. Welcome back to another Beaver 42 episode. How are you, Beaver?
Good, buddy. Good to see you again.
Yeah, mate. Lots to talk about this week, so we'll get straight into it. It's the last week before the finals, and boy, the story of the week, mate. Latrell Mitchell. That's all anyone's talking about. Let's start with what did you think about how the refs handled the situation during the game?
Well, when it first happened live, I saw the incident and I was like, oh, what's happened there, right? You know, you didn't know that he hit him in the face, but you knew he absolutely smashed him, right? And then Manu was slow to get up, right? And you're like, well, surely they're going to be looking at it, right? So very surprising that they hadn't taken the opportunity to look at it and to see what was obviously shoulder contact to the face, right? So I can't believe they got that wrong in the first instance, right? So then in terms of the action, 10 minutes in a bin or a send-off, I think he should have gone, to be honest, right? So it all happened very fast, right? Let's face it. Latrell was coming in a million miles an hour, but the reality is he hit him flush on the face, right? Which is no different than any of these reflex high tackles or things like that happen in the moment. So he should have been gone. And then a lot of the other shit that happened after it wouldn't have happened.
100% agree. Even all the bickering that happened for the last 20 minutes of the game probably would have been far reduced. But I can't agree any more with you on that. That was pretty poorly handled. And there's so many people looking at that I can't understand why they just can't get it right. And the Roosters now, they're absolutely fuming. They were fuming at the time it happened. JWH was calling out Latrell from the dugout. The bench was all up. And then Robinson, after the game, just basically calling out the refs as a joke. What rainbows and ribbons and party streamers or something?
Circus streamers or whatever it was, right? So, but I mean, he went in there looking for a fine and looking to make an impact, right? So with his comments. So he knew he was walking out with a monetary fine, right? But you know what I mean? At the end of the day, I don't think he said anything that was wrong. No. You know, so and the NRL reacted. They got rid of Henry Perinara from the next day. To be honest, I would have taken him off anyway, just because there was just too much noise around his name. He just didn't need to be there, right? You know, but clearly pissed off boys because, you know, they lost a pretty important player for the rest of the year. And they're down a bunch of pretty important players already.
Yeah, exactly right. And I can't wait for next year's first game when they face off JWH and Mitchell. That will be awesome. So
6 weeks.
Yeah,
6 weeks enough.
What we want to talk about now is the actual judiciary handling of it. So, is 6 weeks enough? In my opinion, absolutely not. I'm picking out a Titans player. I remember Fafita got stepped and just stuck the arm out and put his hand around someone's wrist. He got 4 weeks. Zero impact to the player. He got up, continued to play. Fafita was sent off, and he got 4 weeks. Now, this was way worse, but this grading system just doesn't work for me.
I think Fafita probably got 4 weeks because he had priors, right? So in this case, Latrell was due for 4 weeks, I think, right, before his priors came into consideration. So I think he should have been a grade further. I think it should have been 6 weeks plus his loadings, in which case I think he would have 9 weeks, right? So,
I just think the judiciary it was going to be 9.
Oh, sorry, yeah, right. I think he should have got more, right? Because, you know, there's no doubt that he was an angry man. And that continued after that event when he threw the ball down. And, surely after you've been in a situation where you've smashed someone, you want to keep your head down, right? You know, and he was straight back at it as soon as he got back on the field, right? So, bring on next year, but I think he got a couple of weeks too less than he probably should have.
Yeah. Do you think finals played a part of that? So knowing that 4 of those games were likely to be finals, or 3 of them, that played into how many they gave him?
I think that's a bullshit reason.
I agree.
A final is worth two games as a normal season. What crap is that,
Yep.
right? So no, I don't think it did, right? I think they wanted to make sure they kept him out for the final series this year, right, as the message, and to lose a couple of games next year, let's hope that the Cocks and the Bunnies don't play in round 1 and round 2.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, we'll put all that behind us because that's pretty nasty stuff to talk about. But some good news is finals are only a week away, mate. There's going to be some cracking games coming up, and it felt like finals were last week anyway.
Yeah, well, it's kind of been finals for the last few weeks because the games have actually meant something, right?
Yeah.
So we've slowly been putting a red pen through teams, or officially putting the red pen through teams, right? Mathematically had chances, but now are no longer in the running, right? So, look, I got to say I'm very happy it's the last game of the last round of the season for the Dragons. Tired of watching them play as poorly as they are this year. Looking forward to the finals because there's going to be some cracking matchups.
Yeah, and look, I want to get invited to Vaughnie's next barbecue because once they're on Mad Monday, that's going to be sick. So, all right, mate. Well, we'll jump straight into the final round of the year, round 25, and it's a big one for 8th spot, Raiders v Roosters.
Yeah, look, both teams missing a few, but the Roosters missing a few more. And, looking through their teams, they do get Gus Crichton back this week and JWH, but I just don't think it'll be enough this week. And unfortunately for the Titans, I'm backing it to be all over by 10 o'clock on Thursday night.
Yeah.
Raiders getting the win over the Roosters, winning the game by 8 points.
All right. I hope that's not the case because I'll be having a mental health day on Friday. But I just think the Roosters have been playing without good players for a lot of the season. And this is just another one. And getting JWH back, I think he's going to absolutely run havoc through the middle. So I got the Roosters by 6, and that's a fair bit of the heart calling that call. And then the early game Friday, which is the other game that might break my heart, Sharks and Storm. And the Storm are just resting nearly the whole team.
Yeah, look, I'm a bit surprised that they're resting so many players, especially after their pretty average performance last week. The Storm have actually probably shown that you can rattle them, right? And they don't have that calming influence of Cam the Goat Smith there, but look, I still think that the Storm have got enough class here to beat the Sharks, right? So I as all the punters know, I don't rate the Sharks. I am going to back the Storm to win this one, but it's going to be a tight one, right? You want to blow out because you want the Storm you want the for and against to be favourable, but I think that the Storm will win it, and they'll win it by 6 points.
Yeah.
Which I think you'll take.
I'll take 6. I got them by 4, but I'll change it to 6 just so that the total works out nicely. I agree with you. I think the Storm still have enough to win this, and I too don't rate the Sharks. But again, it's a bit of a heart bet. The Sharks are actually on a bit of a win streak, and the Storm have been ordinary. The Titans led them the week before at halftime. That's saying a lot. So I don't know. Anyway, we'll see. So midway through Friday night, I could be crying into my beer. Eels and Panthers, really a bit of a nothing game, but 2 pretty good teams. But Eels are resting a bunch of players this time.
Yes, they are. Walker Blake, Mitchell Moses out, Junior Paulo out, Gutherson out, and then on the extended bench, you've got Dylan Brown and Nathan Brown and Isaiah Papali'i. So with all of those outs, there's 0 chance that I'm going to be back in the Eels. And I think that Brad Arthur will be happy to rest them because he knows he can't, realistically, he's not going to be top 4, right? It would take a massive upset by Cowboys for them and have a chance. So I can't imagine him. I can imagine him being comfortable to rest the players, because after that big win last week against Melbourne, they got a bit of belief back in them, right? You know, that they can mix it with the big boys, and when the real games come along, if they bring it, then they're a chance. So Penrith will win this one, and they'll win it pretty easy, I think, by 14 points.
Yeah, I got Panthers by 18, and I think it's a strategic move by the Eels, because I think they want an excuse in week one of the finals for not going back to back against some of the big boys. So I think this is perfect. Doesn't matter if they win or lose it, but if they lose it in full strength, then the doubts start coming in. They can't beat the big teams. So, and then we go on to something that doesn't really matter. Broncos and Knights. It's a few out for both teams. And a bit surprised in that case, Pearce and Ponga aren't getting a bit of a spell.
Well, you know, Pearce has missed a lot of footy. And to be honest, I don't think Ponga's been playing that great. So, you know, if he's fit, I think he needs the game time, right? You know, yeah, the Knights are missing. Brayley's missing this week. Saifidi, Jacob, not playing this week. But you know, pretty much they've got a good enough team that should take advantage of the Broncos. The question is, are they thinking about this week, or are they thinking about the next week, right? So, and I'm not sure on the Knights, because I'm not convinced that they're a bit up and down like a honeymoon's dick. But I think in the end, I'm going to back the Knights to win it by 4 points.
Okay. I actually think the Broncos are playing okay. And I think they're going to roll the Knights, and I think they'll win by 8. You're right. Ponga's not playing that great, and I think that's a big part of why they're just doing enough to get their wins. And I think Broncos, just a big game for them to finish off the season and have a reason to start next year fresh. So, yeah, I got Broncos winning by 8. Cowboys v Manly. Very few changes to both teams in this one.
Yeah, well, not very often you can say Cowboys being last up winners. But you know what I mean? I'm a bit surprised that Manly are going to play Tommy T, who's at least named. They know that they got to win for that top 4 spot. So I would not be surprised if, you know, he plays as soon as they lead by 26, then he comes straight off the field, right? You know, so, I think the top 4 is important for Manly, because they're a team that, you know, they started to perform really well. And I just think that, you know, they want a couple of cracks at those big boys. If you've got Tommy T in your team, you beat anyone basically, right? So, So this week, I think Manly will win this one. They'll win it by 14 points, but Tommy T will play no more than 60.
You read my mind. If Manly get up early, I've said here that I look for Turbo and DCE to sit, and I think that could be as early as halftime. So I got Manly by 16, only because if they do get up early and sit them, then I think Cowboys might get a few late ones to bring the score back. Speaking of bringing the score back, Rabbits are fielding a reserve grade team versus the Dragons,
who are also fielding a reserve grade team.
One team's by choice.
Because that's the best team we've got. Yeah, look, having looked through that South team, assuming that they go 1-17, you know, I think the Dragons will win this one. I am a bit surprised that Corey Norman is still playing. I thought that they might have given him the arse. But hey, you know what? It is the last game that he gets to play for the club. So I will definitely be watching just to make sure that he does leave the dressing room and leaves his jersey behind, right? So Dragons playing the kids. The kids have gone all right. The issue I see with our kids is that all our kids are backs. So we kind of got the opposite problem to the Cowboys, right? You know, so we need a bit of balance there. We need some young forwards coming through as well, right? So Dragons will win this one. Dragons will win it in a tight one, right? Because the South team is still okay. Dragons will win this one by 4 points.
Nice. Look, I'm probably going to cheer for you boys too. Actually, I didn't put a score down for the Dragons, but yeah, I'll go Dragons by 6, just because I didn't realise that numbers 18 to 21 were all regular first graders. I didn't pick that up. So yeah, massive. And you mentioned earlier that it's just a reflection on the club's thoughts on Dufty that he doesn't even get to play in his last game.
Yeah, incredible. Not even in the 21, right? So him and Hook, obviously there's no relationship at all.
No, exactly right. So look, good luck for the Dragons because really got a bit of a hate on for the Bunnies now. Then we move on to Sunday, and I'm surprised this is the first game, given what the last game is. Titans v Warriors, and this may mean something big, or it may mean nothing.
Yeah, well, let's hope it's a live fixture, right? Let's hope that you guys still have a chance of making it. Got to win by a margin, whatever that margin becomes, right? Because I think it'd be great for the game to have that level of interest, right? So. I look at your team and, it's the same faces. I just want to shout out, you signed Mo Fodawaker during the week, right? So for another couple of years, right? So that's disappointing for the Dragons because I was really hoping we picked him up. Look, I think the Titans have got it all to play for, unless they got nothing to play for. And that's the big question mark for me. So the Titans have got the game to make the 8. I think they'll win, and I think they'll win it by 14 points. But if they don't, and they're already out, then I think the Warriors will win it by 8.
Yeah.
That's how I see the switch.
And to be honest, that's an absolute indictment on the Titans for the entire season, where if it means something, they'll give it a go. If it doesn't, then they don't even try. So that's really sad because regardless, I want to see the Titans dig in and have a good hard crack. I've got them winning by 17, and they'll miss out on the 8 by 1 plus minus in the for and against.
1 point.
Yep. So that's the way I see it. So
do you see that? Do you see them missing out because Reece Walsh, down by 18 points, kicks a field goal with a minute to play to make the margin 17, which drops you out of.
I see it the other way. We need 2 points, and Tyrone Peachy takes a field goal.
He takes it from the 39.5.
Yep, that's right. Just to knock us over. So yeah,
nice.
And just to round out the final game of the year, it's the Tigers and Dogs, and I'm just surprised they couldn't swing that this wasn't the final game of the week. It just seems horrible. But anyway, and 12 Dogs are free to look for other clubs, including Napa and Hopewadi.
Yeah. Big turnover happening at the Dogs, right? But you look through that back line that they've got there, and who in that back line is going to be there next year in their top 7 backs?
I think Kotrick.
Maybe Flanagan. Kotrick isn't named here.
No, you're not in the team that's named. Gotcha. Yeah. I see what you're saying. My apologies. Yeah.
So you're right. Kotrick will be in the 7, but here I don't know if any of them will make it. Right? So
Corey Allen's the dud signing of the year.
Yeah, but to be honest, I mean, how comfortable are you this week? You're fullback. Next week you're on the wing. Then you're fullback. Then you're in the centres. Then you're on the wing. I think Baz has, he struggled a bit with I've got to build for the longer term. So I need to see people to be able to build combination versus I need a win, right? And I think that I need a win has taken over a lot in the way that he's coached. And, look, they don't have the cattle, right? So, I think it's great that they competed last week against Manly, but they just didn't have enough. Now, this week, it's different, right? They're playing against the toothless Tigers, right? So, look, both of these teams are capable of games of absolutely imperfection. So I'm backing Dogs to win this one to finish out the year. Dogs to win it by 4 points, and then Madge to be fired on Monday morning at Mad Monday.
Well, that's been a lot of the talk this week, hasn't it? That's been rumbling in the background. I got who's going to be a better coach is my opinion, but I got the Tigers 12.
Tigers by 12, right? Okay, great. Look, I hope that happens because, I don't think Madge deserves to go.
No.
I think the team he's got with him, there's no heart, right? So hopefully they don't get rid of him because, he's probably the only thing, him and Dewey are the only things that they've got going from him.
Yeah, totally agree. And speaking of keeping an eye on Corey Norman as he leaves his final game for the Dragons, are you worried he's going to steal an NRL speaker on the way out, like Lachlan Lewis?
Lachlan Lewis stealing the sound bar, right? But he had the hoodie on.
Yeah.
Right? He had the hoodie on. Didn't think that the tap card would indicate who he really was, right? So
the problem
seriously.
was he had the number 7 Dogs jersey on, so the hoodie didn't matter.
I mean, what are they thinking, right? So he's only earning $450 a year, right? So
that's what blows.
It just makes no sense.
No.
Makes no sense, right? So he's gone, right? Surely they won't keep him.
He's one of the 12 free to look elsewhere. So,
right.
Yeah. All right then, mate. Well, that rounds it out. We might have to look to do a live stream for one of the finals games one day, mate. We'll see if we can hook that up. So, look, here's hoping Thursday and Friday don't ruin my whole weekend.
Yeah, look, let's hope that it's live fixtures all weekend, right? Because that'd be really exciting, right? So and good luck for your tits.
Good on you, mate. We need all the help we can get. Good on you, mate. Have a good week.
All right, you too. All right, see you guys. Enjoy the footy.